Hi guys, this is Pulkit Jain from Bennett University. So today we are going to understand about Banker's algorithm. What is Banker's algorithm? From its name, one thing is clear that it is obviously an algorithm which is used in computer systems. But why is the name Banker's algorithm? Is it used in banks? Okay, we will get to that point later in the video. But let's first understand what is the use of this Banker's algorithm. So this Banker's algorithm is used in deadlock detection and deadlock avoidance. Now you might be thinking, what is a deadlock? So let me explain deadlock with an example.
To understand deadlock, consider three person A, B and C. Okay, so three of them A, B and C are carpenters. Now to complete their work, they need some resources like hammers, nails, screws, etc. etc. And there is a condition that one person cannot give its resources to other person until it has completed its own work. So suppose A cannot give its resources to B or C until it has completed its own work. Now let's take a condition like A needs a hammer to complete his work and A does not have a hammer. B has the hammer. So A asks from B that can you give me your hammer? B says that bro, I want to give you the hammer but I cannot give you because I am not able to complete my own work, because the one instrument I want is with C and the condition is that I cannot give you my resource until I have completed my work. So B asks from C that bro, can you give me this resource so that I can complete my work? And C says that bro, I also want to give you my resource but I cannot give because there is one resource that is with A and I need it to complete my own work. So C is dependent on A for one resource and A cannot give its resource. So this is the condition of a deadlock. So in this deadlock condition, that none of the A, B or C can complete their work because A is dependent on B, B is dependent on C and C is dependent on A. So to avoid this deadlock condition, we use Banker's algorithm. Now how it is used in operating system? Okay, so like in old times when the computers were made, they were given processes to complete some task and each process needed some resources like printer, scanner, keyboard, mouse. So many times a deadlock condition would occur. So to avoid the deadlock condition, we required Banker's algorithm. Okay, so let us consider a system. So we have five processes P0, P1, P2, P3 and P4, and we have three resources A, B and C. These can be printer or scanner of these types. Okay, so of A we have 10 instances, of B we have 5 instances and of C we have 7 instances. Now we have a allocation array. This allocation array means that how many instances of each resource we have given to each process. Like the 0 instance of A we have given to P0 and we have given 1 instance of B and 0 instance of C. The next is the max array. Max array means that maximum how many instances of each resource can any process demand. Like for P0, it can demand maximum 7 instances of A, 5 instances of B and 3 instances of C. So the next is the available array. The available array means how many instances we have extra, means what are the number of leftover instances. Like we have 3 instances of A, 3 instances of B and 2 instances of C which are not used by any of the process. Okay, so now we have to find that if the system is in a safe state. So what a safe state means, that all of the five processes P0, P1, P2, P3 and P4 can complete their work without going in a condition of deadlock. So what we need to find? We need to find a sequence in which these five processes need to be executed, that there will not be any condition of deadlock, and that sequence is called a safe sequence. So what we need to do is we need to find a safe sequence, and if we cannot find a safe sequence, then the system is said to be in an unsafe state. Okay, so now let's start to find a safe sequence. So first, to find a safe sequence we need to find a need matrix. So the formula of need matrix is very simple, which is maximum minus allocation. Okay, so for process P0, So for resource A, 7 minus 0 is 7, and for process resource B, 5 minus 1 is 4. For resource C, 3 minus 0 is 3. Similarly for process P1, for resource A, 3 minus 2 is 1, and for resource B, 2 minus 0 is 2, and for resource C, 2 minus 0 is 2. So similarly we can fill for each process P2, P3 and P4. Okay, so that was very simple. It was not hard. Now, to find if a system is on safe state, we need to use a safety algorithm. So, what is a safety algorithm? So, let's check out a safety algorithm. Okay, so this is the safety algorithm. What it says that if need is less than or equal to available, then execute the process. So, the process will be executed, and so the resources we have allocated to that process will be free and we can add to them available, so we will update the available. So our new available will be available plus allocation, and if need is greater than available, then we cannot execute the process and we will go forward. Okay, so let's use this safety algorithm. On each process, check if the system is in a safe state or not and to find the safe sequence. Okay, so let's check for process P0. So for resource A we need 7 instances and we have 3 instances. So and for resource B we need 4 instances and we have available are 3, and for resource C we need 3 instances available are 2. So what happened that need is greater than available, so we cannot execute it and we will move on. Okay, so let's move on to process P1. Okay, so for resource A we have one instance and we require one instance, and we have three available. For resource B we require two and we have three resources available. For resource 3 we need two instance and we have two resources available. Okay, so in this process P1 the need is less than available, so we can execute the process. Okay, so let's execute the process P1. Okay, so we have executed the process P1 and we will strike it so that we are not confused later on. Okay, so now let's update the available. So the available will be 3 plus 2 is 5, and 3 plus 0 is 3, and 2 plus 0 is 2. This will be our new available. Okay, so now let's move to process P2. So the what resource A, for resource A we need 6 instances and available are 5, and for resource B we need 0 instances, available are 3, and for resource C we need 0 instances, available are 2. So in this case also we cannot satisfy all the conditions of the if condition, because need is greater than available in resource A, so we will do not execute it and go forward. Okay, so let's move on to process P3. So in resource A we require 0 instances and we have 5 available. For resource B we require 1 instance and we have 3 available, and for resource C we require 1 instance and we have 2 available. In this condition the if condition is satisfied. Okay, so we will execute the process. Let's execute the process P3. Okay, and we have to update the available to the new available. Okay, so 5 plus 2 is 7, 3 plus 1 is 4, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so let's move on to process number P4. So for resource A we require 4 instance and we have 7 instance. For resource B we require 3 instance and we have 4 instance. For resource C we require 1 instance and we have 3 instance. So in this case also the if condition is satisfied, so we will execute the process. So we will execute P4. Okay, now we will update the available. So 7 plus 0 is 7, 4 plus 0 is 4, and 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so now we have checked all the 5 processes, but we need to go back again to those processes which were not executed earlier and see if they can be executed now. So we need to go to that cycle again. So we will go to the process P0. For resource A we need 7 resources and we have 7 instances. For resource B we need 4 instances and we have 4 instances. For resource C we need 3 instances and we have 5 instances. So now in this case the if condition is satisfied, so we can execute the process P0. The process P0 is executed and now we will update the available. So 7 plus 0 is 7, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 5 plus 0 is 5. Okay, now our process P2 is left, so we will check for process P2. So for resource A we need 6 instance and we have 7 instance. For resource B we need 0 instance and we have 5 instance. For resource C we need 0 instance and we have 5 instance. So now in this case also the if condition is satisfied, so we can execute the process P2. Process P2 is executed and we will update the available. So 7 plus 3 is 10, 5 plus 0 is 5, and 5 plus 2 is 7. So that's great. Now our the available resources are equal to the initial number of resources that we have. Solution is correct, and we have the correct save sequence. So our save sequence is P1, P3, P4, P0 and P2. So our system is in safe state. Now it is not necessary to have the same save sequence. There can be more save sequence, but it is one of them. Okay.
Let us come to the point how this banker's algorithm is used in banks. Suppose there is a bank, example Citibank. So this bank has n number of customers which have and the total amount of money of all that customers is S. Suppose a person comes for a loan in the bank. Before the bank gives the loan to the person, the bank will subtract the amount of loan from the total amount of from the total amount of money that bank has and check whether it is greater than or equal to S. So why is it so? So it is here to avoid the situation. Say all the customers come to the bank at once and demand all of their money. Now the bank cannot say that I will not give you the money today, come later, then I will give you. Bank has to give that money at that time only. So to avoid that situation, the bank subtracts the amount of loan from the total amount of the bank has. And so there would be a deadlock in this situation. And to avoid this deadlock, we use banker's algorithm. But now how is it used in computer systems? So let us understand with the help of an example.
So the problem is, if the request for process P1 arrives for 1 instance of A, 0 instance of B and 2 instance of C, can the request be granted immediately? So like the process P1 says and arrives and says that bro, I need this much amount of resources immediately, I am in urgent need. So can we give the resources to it immediately? So we have to check it. So let's see how to check it. So for it we need a resource request algorithm. So a resource request algorithm, the first step is, if the request is less than equal to need, then go to step 2. Obviously the need is the amount of resources that a process needs and the request should be less than it. So let's check for process P1. So for process P1 the need is 1 and the request is 1. For resource B the need is 2 and the request is 0, and for resource C for the need is 2 and the request is 2. Okay, so that's correct. So we can go to step 2. If the request is less than equal to available, go to step 3. So obviously we can give the amount of resources we have. We cannot give more than amount of resources that we have. So we have to check if request is less than available. So for resource A we have 3 instances available and we need 1 instance. For resource B we have 3 instances and we need 0 instance, and for resource C we have 2 instances and we need 2 instances. Okay, so this is also correct. Now we have to do some updation. Okay, so now what is the thing that after checking it, the system will assume that it has given its resources to the requesting process. So if it has given the resources to the requesting process, we need to check now that if the system is in safe state or not. It has not given the resources, it is assuming that it has given the resources. So after giving the resources, obviously our available resources will be subtracted. So available is equals to available minus request. So 3 minus 1 is 2, 3 minus 0 is 3 and 2 minus 2 is 0. And now the allocation is equals to allocation plus request, because we have allocated more resources to that particular process. Okay, so for process P1, so 2 plus 1 is 3, 0 plus 0 is 0 and 0 plus 2 is 2. Okay, so we have updated the allocation and now the need is equals to need minus request. Okay, so yes, the amount of resources he needs will be subtracted. So 1 minus 1 is 0, 2 minus 0 is 2 and 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, so now we have to check our new system is in safe state or not. And how do we check the safe state? Using that same safety algorithm. So for this we need to check the safety algorithm, and by using the safety algorithm we need to find the safe sequence. For it we need the need matrix, and so for process P0, P2, P3 and P4, our need matrix is calculated in the same way from maximum minus allocation formula, and for P1 we have updated it earlier. Okay, so let's check for process number P0. Our need is 743 and the available is 230, so we cannot execute it. Now let's go to the process P1. Okay, so our need is 020 and the available resources are 230. So yes, we can execute this process P1. So we will execute the process and we will strike, so we will not confuse in the later part. Okay, so our the available will be updated from this available plus allocation as it is in the safety algorithm we did earlier. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 0 is 3 and 0 plus 2 is 2. Okay, now let's move to process P2. Okay, so we need 600 amount of resources and the available is 532, so we cannot execute it. Now let's go to process P3. So for process P3 we have 011 resources and the we need 011 resources and the available are 532, so we can execute the process P3. Okay, the process P3 is executed and our new available will be the previous available plus allocation. So 5 plus 2 is 7, 3 plus 1 is 4 and 2 plus 1 is 3. Now we will check for process P4. Okay, so we need 431 resources and the available are 743. So in this case also our need is less than available, so we can execute process P4 also, and our new available will be the previous available plus allocation, so it will be our new available. Okay, now we need to go back to the previous resources who are not executed as we did earlier in the video. So we will go to process P0, we will check the need is 743 and the available are 745. So we can execute this process. So the process is executed and a new available will be 745 plus 010, which will be equal to 755. Okay, and now the process P2 is left. We will check for process P2. The need is 600 and the available are 755, so we can execute this process also. So process P2 is executed and a new available will be 7 plus 3 10, 5 plus 0 5 and 5 plus 2 7. So that's great. In this case also our available resources are now equal to the initial resources we have, so our situation is correct and we found a safe sequence. So what we come to know, that we can provide those much amount of resources that the process P1 asked immediately. So now our problem is solved. It means we are rich, we have enough resources, we can provide them. So that was the solution of the problem.